Thanks for joining us for the Nick Hart Show, presented each week by the Gibson Southern Football Boosters, including AgriGold, ADG Architecture and Design Group, Baker Tax and Financial Services, Brett's Car Care, Cordray Insurance, Daylight Land Management, Davis Brothers, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Duke Energy, Foster Construction, the Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Harper's Pub and Pizza, Hobstadt Summerfest, Hydorn Construction, Hobstadt Family Dentistry, Hen Orthodontics, Hillside Gardens, Hip Dentistry, JMCO Technologies, Kiesel Enterprises Incorporated, MyTech Systems, Pole Concrete Construction, Pro Rehab, Roberts Boring, Trenching and Excavating, Robert Goob Vermillion, Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Timbarge Seed, TYFL, Reinbrecht Homes, Stodgel Funeral Home, Stodgel Monuments, in memory of Darwin and Eric Callis, by Vertical Tile Incorporated, Wash Boss, Young's Auto Body, Johnson Commercial Mowing, in loving memory of Zach Bailey, by Julia's School of Dance, Kathy Solomon Photography, Like Transport, Make Your Mark, Scherer Monuments, Southern Indiana Tire, United Fidelity Bank, Stan and Teresa Dove, by Air Evac Life Team, Ameriprise Financial, Jeremy Overton, by Engermeyer Electric, Bandit Ag LLC, Bryant Auto Center Incorporated, by Center for Pediatric Therapy, by Country Barns, by Daywig Meats of Hobstadt, Drosty's Jewelry Shops, Edward Jones Financial Advisor Jason Rainey, by Fort Branch Car Wash, Full Metal Armory, by grandparent of Isaac O'Neill, Marianne O'Neill, by Heritage Federal Credit Union, Heritage Petroleum LLC, Jarbo Tax Service, Casey Gray, Fuquay State Farm, by Cook Air, L&B Boutique, Little Miracles, Matt Walker Insurance, by Meisler Trailer Rentals, National Vet Help, Ripco Systems, by Titan Construction Partners, Whitledge Tree Service LLC, and by the Wabash Valley College Radio, TV, and Digital Media Department. Hey, welcome into the Nick Hart Show here on this Tuesday night. The Titans moved to 8-0 on Friday night, a Pocket Athletic Conference win at home against county rival Princeton. 63-0 was the final score. Pleased to have Titan head coach Nick Hart with us. Good thing he's here. It is the Nick Hart Show. If he's not here, I'm not sure what the show would be titled. But, Coach, congratulations on the big win, and good to see the Titans get out of the gate well and never look back on Friday night.
Yeah, thought our guys did a great job of coming out and taking care of business. And it was a pretty clean game for the most part on our end. And, you know, that's what you like to see, especially this time of the year, is to kind of be clicking and I'm hitting all those cylinders as we head into a conference championship game and then the playoffs.
Coach, you seem to score in all kinds of different ways in this one. A couple of pick sixes. You scored a safety in this ball game, and the offense seemed to be going well as well. Talk about the team's ability to put points on the board in a variety of different ways.
Yeah, I thought, you know, we had one drive offensively in the first half where we didn't score. We got backed up with the penalty and weren't able to kind of dig ourselves out of that hole. But other than that, you know, really clean on the offensive side of the ball. Thought it was just really good execution for the most part. And then, you know, defensively, I thought, you know, those guys continued to play at a really high level. We've been bragging on them for the past couple of weeks. And, you know, they continued to play at a really high level. And, you know, we're able to even score a couple times on that side of the ball as well.
63-0 the final. The Titans put 35 points on the board in the first quarter of play. We saw, let's see, two of those, both of those interceptions returned for touchdown in that first quarter of play. 35-0 at that point, 20-0 at the halftime break, and then the safety in the third quarter. Not often we see that in a football game. Take us through the sequence that led to the safety for the team there in the third quarter.
It was kind of like a team safety, I guess is the best way to put it. They were backed up a little bit, and we had a good punt with our JV punt team and kind of pinned them deep, and they snapped the ball over the quarterback's head, and as we were kind of chasing him down, he knocked it out of the back of the end zone. So I thought that was one really good thing to see is, after half, I thought our young guys came in and played really well on both sides of the ball. I think sometimes in those type of games, our young guys, I think any young guys, but speaking to us, like we can play a little sloppy in that second half. And whether it's the nerves of it being Friday night or the game's out of hand or whatever it is, I thought our young guys came in and did a great job on both sides of the ball.
Looking at the quarterbacks, Tanner Boyd, 8 completions in 12 attempts for 46 yards and a score. Liam Bryant got in the action, 2 completions out of 3 attempts, 19 yards and a touchdown. Carrying the football, Devin Roberts again leads the way, 9 carries, 148 yards, a score. Sean DeLong, 5 carries for 91 and a couple of touchdowns. And then some of the names that we maybe haven't called as often. Chase Thaxton got in there, 7 carries for 41 yards. We saw Grant Stinson a carry for -6 on the rushing side of things. Tanner Boyd, 3 for 25. Liam Bryant, 3 for a net 0 yards. And then receiving, Sean DeLong had 5 catches for 36, a score. Max Wilson, 2 catches for 19 and a touchdown. Devin caught 1 for 8. Cole McKee, 2 for 2 on the night through the air. So, again, getting a lot of the younger guys experience, and you can't, talk enough about getting the experience for those younger guys. Who knows when and where they're going to be required to step up and make key contributions, especially as you get toward the postseason.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think, it's kind of an underrated thing. Everybody wants to talk about everybody that we graduated from last year's team and the inexperience of this year's team. But because of the success of last year's team, those guys got to play a lot of football that they're starting for us now, whether it be, at the end of ball games or just, being able to go through that 15-week run of playing in a state championship. So, our guys that are starting this year were in that role last year and got to play a lot of football. And I think it's, really helped them transition to the varsity level this year.
All adds up to a big 63-0 win for the Titans and a perfect 8-0 record heading into the final week of the regular season. And that, in essence, PAC Athletic Conference Big School Division Championship game between the Titans and the Boonville Pioneers, both of whom enter with 4-0 conference records. The Titans 8-0 overall. Boonville is 6-2. We'll talk more about that game. We'll also talk about the sectional draw when we come back as the Nick Hart Show continues. Stay with us. The Nick Hart Show is presented each week by the Gibson Southern Football Boosters, made possible by Robert's Boring, Trenching, and Excavating, Robert Goob Vermillion, Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Tembarge Seed, TYFL, Reinbrecht Homes, Stodgel Funeral Home, Stodgel Monuments, in memory of Darwin and Eric Callis, by Vertical Tile Incorporated, Wash Boss, Young's Auto Body, Johnson Commercial Mowing, in loving memory of Zach Bailey, by Julia's School of Dance, Kathy Solomon Photography, Like Transport, Make Your Mark, Scherer Monuments, Southern Indiana Tire, United Fidelity Bank, Stan and Teresa Dove, by Air Evac Life Team, and by Ameriprise Financial, Jeremy Overton. Support provided by Wabash General Hospital, now offering MyChart, giving patients secure digital access to their health information. Get access to clinical charts, prescribed medication, test results, appointment information, and more. The MyChart messaging service allows you to communicate with your provider to ask clinical questions. Patients may sign up for the service at wghmychart.com. MyChart at Wabash General Hospital, another example of people you know helping people you love. And back here on the Nick Hart Show, the coach will be back with us in just a moment. But first, let's recap where we sit in the Pocket Athletic Conference. 8 weeks gone now, hard to believe. In the regular season, just 1 week remaining. And that week will be a big one for the Pocket, as the conference championship will be decided between the Gibson Southern Titans and the Boonville Pioneers. Both teams will enter at 4-0 in league play. Gibson Southern 8-0 overall. Boonville enters 6-2 on the season. The games on Friday night, Boonville had no problem with Washington. They won it 54-8. The Titans equally no contest from Princeton as they won it 63-0. Other games involving league teams, it was Mount Vernon falling to a very good North Posey team, 28-13. Heritage Hills, meanwhile, lost to Southridge 35-7. For Heritage Hills, their fourth loss on the season. They're 4-4. Mount Vernon, the same record at 4-4. Princeton 2-6, or rather Washington 2-6, and Princeton 0-8. Southridge sits atop the small school division of the PAC with a 7-1 record. Their matchup with Forest Park is set for this Friday night. A win for Southridge gives them the Pocket Small School Division Championship outright. North Posey sits at 6-2 overall, 3-1 in the small school division. North Posey will play Pike Central on Friday night. Southridge will play at Forest Park, and then Tell City, as we mentioned, at South Spencer there on Friday night in that one. Heritage Hills, I think I said Heritage Hills may have played Forest Park. It's Heritage Hills playing at Princeton on Friday night in that matchup there. So got all those matchups for you. This coming Friday, it's Gibson Southern at Boonville. That's a 6 o'clock start. Heritage Hills at Princeton at 7. Pike Central at North Posey is a 6:30 scheduled start. Southridge Forest Park at 6:30. Tell City at South Spencer at 7. And Washington at Mount Vernon, a 6:30 local time start there. That's a look at our Pocket Athletic Conference roundup. Gibson Southern, Boonville to play for the PAC title on Friday night. More to come on the Nick Hart Show when we come back.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by
Engermeyer Electric, Bandit Ag LLC, Bryant Auto Center Incorporated, by Center for Pediatric Therapy, by Country Barns, by Daywig Meats of Hobstadt, Drosty's Jewelry Shops, Edward Jones Financial Advisor Jason Rainey, by Fort Branch Car Wash, Full Metal Armory, by grandparent of Isaac O'Neill, Marianne O'Neill, by Heritage Federal Credit Union, Heritage Petroleum LLC, Jarbo Tax Service, Casey Gray, Fuquay State Farm, by Cook Air, L&B Boutique, Little Miracles, Matt Walker Insurance, by Meisler Trailer Rentals, National Vet Help, Ripco Systems, by Titan Construction Partners, Whitledge Tree Service LLC, and by Wabash Valley College. Welcome back to the Nick Hart Show, a chance for us to take a look back at the sectional draw that took place this past weekend, the sectional 30, and Coach, you alluded last week about the team needing to be kind to ping pong balls over the next week or so, and I'm not sure who played ping pong, but by the way the bracket drew, somebody wasn't very nice to ping pong balls on the roster, because we did not get the best of draws as you look at how sectional 30 stacks up.
Yeah. I think it's pretty well documented. I'm a proponent of us moving to a seeding type of format. But at this point, it is what it is, and we're just kind of wasting our breath. The field's been drawn, and we have a really tough test right out of the gate. We've talked about Vincennes on the show before and the type of season that they're having, and we haven't seen them a whole lot. They play in a closed conference, so it's not even like you see them in a crossover film. But they've done some really impressive things in the SIC this year, and so it's going to be a really tough ball game. Luckily, I guess we were nice enough that it is at home. That's a nice thing there. Week one, having a big game out of the gate, being able to play at home. But I think right now, and I kind of said this last week when we talked about the sectional draw coming up, I wish it was done after Friday night. And that's where our focus is on Friday night. This isn't coach speak. I think football is a week-to-week sport, and if we're thinking about Vincennes right now, it's not going to get us any better to play Vincennes, and it's going to make us worse this week. So we have a chance to win a conference championship on Friday, and so we kind of know the path and know who we're opening up with. But all of our focus and attention goes back to getting ready this week and getting ready for Boonville on Friday.
We'll talk about that Boonville matchup. It is a pivotal matchup. It is for a conference championship on Friday night, and the two best teams with the best records in the PAC Big Division will be at it on Friday night. But obviously, as you look at the draw here, it's Vincennes at Gibson Southern on the 21st. Vincennes, a team that in at least one of the polls is ranked 16th of this week. And then you have in the next semifinal, or the next quarterfinal matchup, Owen Valley and Mount Vernon. And then in the bottom half of the bracket, it's Princeton against West Vigo and Washington against Pike Central. So in other words, the way this all breaks out, the four teams with the best record are in the upper half of the bracket because of the draw, and the teams that have the worst records are at the bottom half of the bracket. So your sectional championship will pit a team that is at least at or above 500 against one that will certainly not be, and that's where you kind of see the rough look at the draw there for the Titans. So the path through, if the seeds would hold, or if the teams with the best records win their games, it would be the Titans and Vincennes, and then likely either Owen Valley or Mount Vernon, and then Princeton, West Vigo, Washington, Pike Central in the finale of the sectional. So a rough task ahead, no doubt. Not the way that you like to see those ping pong balls bounce, but they do bounce that way. And we'll see how that shakes out for the Titans. That's a look at the sectional draw. And, of course, we'll be there for all the broadcasts of all those games for you on 89.1 The Bash. When we come back, we'll get you set for the matchup this Friday night. It's the final night of the regular season, and a big one for the Titans on the road at Boonville for the Pocket Athletic Conference Championship. We'll be back with that. Stay with us.
You're listening to The Nick Hart Show, presented each week by the Gibson Southern Football Boosters, including AgriGold, ADG Architecture and Design Group, Baker Tax and Financial Services, Brett's Car Care, Cordray Insurance, Daylight Land Management, Davis Brothers, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Duke Energy, Foster Construction, the Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Harper's Pub and Pizza, Hobstadt Summerfest, Hydorn Construction, Hobstadt Family Dentistry, Hen Orthodontics, Hillside Gardens, Hip Dentistry, JMCO Technologies, Kiesel Enterprises Incorporated, MyTech Systems, Pole Concrete Construction, and Pro Rehab.
Well, our final segment here tonight, we get you set for the Titans' big matchup on the road at Boonville Friday night. It is a 6 o'clock start time, so note that kickoff time. 6 o'clock start, moved up just a little bit. We'll have the pregame show beginning at 5:45 between the Titans and the Pioneers. And, Coach, this is a Boonville team that is 6-2. They very easily could have been 8-0. They lost to Southridge 13-0, and they lost in overtime 13-7 to North Knox, the winners in all their other games. And so Coach Darren Ward's got his team playing well, and this may be one of the biggest tests for the Titans so far this season.
Yeah, really good football team. I think when you kind of look at their scores in their film, early in the year they were winning games with their defense. Their defense was really tough to move the ball against and especially to score against. And they may have, this might not be the right word, but for where they're at now, they were struggling offensively early in the year. They've really found their rhythm offensively as they've gone through the year. And that's common. You figure out what you're doing best, and guys kind of find their roles and their pieces, and everything starts to come together, and they're really starting to play well on the offensive side of the ball. So, I think it's a great game for us in the fact that, we talked about the sectional, and there's a chance you're going to have a big game right out of the gate. And if you win that one, you're going to have another big game. So I think this is a playoff type atmosphere with the conference championship on the line. I think their people are really excited for this one, is the word on the street. So I think it's going to be a really fun atmosphere, playoff type atmosphere, which will be great to help prepare us for the next couple of weeks if we keep winning. The Connor kid at quarterback does a great job. He's a dual threat guy. He runs the ball well, hurts you in the passing game. So keeping him from making big plays and making sure that defensively, we stay in coverage when he extends plays. I think he does a great job of extending plays, and that's where a lot of their big passing plays come from, is when he extends plays and the receivers keep working. So we got to do a great job with that. And the Wilder kid is the running back. He runs the ball extremely hard. He's a big physical kid. And so there's a lot of challenges in how to stop them. And then, like I said, defensively, I think they're really good. They have one game where, Linton scored a lot of points on them. But other than that, they've done a really good job of keeping offenses in check. And so, when we can't stop ourselves, they're going to make some stops because that's what they've done. So we can't help them out and stop ourselves along the way. So, I think, again, it's a big game because it's for the conference championship, but it's a great primer to help get you ready for the playoffs.
Do you like having a game that means something and that has the potential of being the type of game that this one is before the playoffs? I mean, obviously, I think it helps your kids maintain focus, as you've talked about, but is that something that you like to see before you enter postseason play?
Yeah, I do. I think, we want to play big time games every single week. So I think it's a great way to. I even had when the draw came out, a coach that I know well sent me a message giving me a hard time saying, well, you're always going out trying to find the best competition to play that you can. So the IHSA was just trying to help you out there early in the sectional. So that's kind of who we are and what we want. So I think it's a great thing to have a big time game like this leading into the playoffs.
And of course, speaking of sectionals, Boonville is in 4A. They play in sectional 24, and that's a loaded field as well. So Boonville will have their hands full in their opener. They play at Evansville Harrison as you look at their sectional 24 matchup there. But should be a fun night. It is in Boonville. I know they have a good concession stand there. That's always important to those of us in the broadcasting business. Get there early, though, Titan fans. Kickoff is now at 6 o'clock. Our pregame show on 89.1 The Bash begins at 5:45. Coach, good luck. Let's hope next week we're talking about a conference champion Titan football team and getting set for postseason play.
Sounds great.
All right, that's Titan coach Nick Hart. That is the Nick Hart Show for this Tuesday night. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us for the Nick Hart Show, presented each week by the Gibson Southern Football Boosters, including AgriGold, ADG Architecture and Design Group, Baker Tax and Financial Services, Brett's Car Care, Cordray Insurance, Daylight Land Management, Davis Brothers, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Duke Energy, Foster Construction, the Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Harper's Pub and Pizza, Hobstadt Summerfest, Hydorn Construction, Hobstadt Family Dentistry, Hen Orthodontics, Hillside Gardens, Hip Dentistry, JMCO Technologies, Kiesel Enterprises Incorporated, MyTech Systems, Pole Concrete Construction, Pro Rehab, Roberts Boring, Trenching and Excavating, Robert Goob Vermillion, Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Timbarge Seed, TYFL, Reinbrecht Homes, Stodgel Funeral Home, Stodgel Monuments, in memory of Darwin and Eric Callis, by Vertical Tile Incorporated, Wash Boss, Young's Auto Body, Johnson Commercial Mowing, in loving memory of Zach Bailey, by Julia's School of Dance, Kathy Solman Photography, Like Transport, Make Your Mark, Scherer Monuments, Southern Indiana Tire, United Fidelity Bank, Stan and Teresa Dove, by Air Evac Life Team, Ameriprise Financial, Jeremy Overton, by Engermeyer Electric, Bandit Ag LLC, Bryant Auto Center Incorporated, by Center for Pediatric Therapy, by Country Barns, by Daywig Meats of Hobstadt, Drosty's Jewelry Shops, Edward Jones Financial Advisor Jason Rainey, by Fort Branch Car Wash, Full Metal Armory, by grandparent of Isaac O'Neill, Marianne O'Neill, by Heritage Federal Credit Union, Heritage Petroleum LLC, Jarbo Tax Service, Casey Gray, Fuquay State Farm, by Cook Air, L&B Boutique, Little Miracles, Matt Walker Insurance, by Meisler Trailer Rentals, National Vet Help, Ripco Systems, by Titan Construction Partners, Whitledge Tree Service LLC, and by the Wabash Valley College Radio, TV, and Digital Media Department.